Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Greg. Today I'm going to be making some blocks to put the car on. So I'm going to be doing some suspension work soon. I want to be able to have the car fully loaded on the suspension but not sit all the way on the ground. I want to have these wheels up maybe about 6 to 8 inches. So I'm going to make some blocks for these to set on. I had seen some on Instagram and YouTube and thought it looked like a pretty good idea, so I'm going to make them out of 2x4s, and here's what the finished product looks like. So let's get started. All right, so first, my tires are about 9.5 inches wide or so in the front and back. Back tires are a little bit bigger. They're about 25 inches tall. So I'm gonna use this as my model. I wanna make stands that would work on the front or the back. I'm only gonna make 2 today. So I'm gonna make them for the largest of the tires. Eventually I'll make the other 2, and then I'll have a full set of 4 all the same size. So for the part where the tire is going to sit directly on the piece, I want to have a small strip at the front and the back to keep the tire from rolling forward or backward off the end. Although the car shouldn't be rolling with emergency brake, and I can use chocks and other stuff, I still want to have pieces across the front and back to keep the car from rolling forward or backward. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut some small plywood strips. We'll cut 4 of them, 1 for the front and the back on each side. So let's cut those strips real quick. All right, so I've got a piece of plywood right here. I just had this scrap piece. Just so happens it was 10 inches wide, which is about how wide you want your strips to be. And I just made marks about 1.25 inches. So I'll have 4 1.25 inch wide strips, full width of the plywood here. Alright, so now we're ready for our 2x4. So to figure the correct length of this, you just want to take one of your plywood strips, put it right here at about a 45-degree angle, and when it goes in that far, like that's too high, that's about 45 degrees, just make sure your 2x4 comes right to the end there. And when your 2x4 is right at the end, you just put this over here at a 45-degree angle, and that's where you're going to make your mark. So that's going to be the length of the block. Remember, your tire has a pretty small contact patch, so it's only going to be sitting right here. So you'll still have plenty of room for that tire to move back and forth if you need to move the car slightly. So this is plenty wide enough. It's not going to fall or anything. I've seen some that are really wide, and that's not necessary. So we're going to cut 8 pieces this same length. So I'll have 2 here, another stack of 2x4s, and then 2 more. So I'll know I have at least 4 on this side, and there'll be 4 for the other block as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut 8 of these, this exact length. All right, so my measurement here ended up being 13.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut out 8 of these. So that's based on my 255 50/16 tire. So you'll wanna come up with your own measurement based on your tire size, not necessarily use my measurements. Also, when I'm done, I'll tell you all the total of materials I used. I bought 3 these 8-foot 2x4s, so I'll let you know if that turned out to be enough or if I need more. Just to give you an idea of what you're going to need before you get started. So I'm going to cut these, then we'll move to the next step. Alright, so that's all 8. Let's stack them up and see what we're looking at. Alright, so I've already measured the width of my tire. It's about 9.5 inches, so I decided to use 10 inches for these. So my 2x4s, I'm going to go this direction, and these will be screwed into the top. So my tire is going to sit basically right here in this area, be where the contact patch is. So that's basically the top piece. So the next layer underneath this will have some 10-inch 2x4s cut these off at 10 inches, go in this direction. So I'll continue to make kind of that waffle stack all the way up as high as I want it. So since I know this is 10 inches wide, I'm going to go ahead and cut 4, or I guess 8 2x4s that are 10 inches wide. So let's do that next. Alright, those are cut, so let's do a little mock assembly here. Let's say we have these on the bottom, these here. So that's the total size of my block. After that, you just stack these to make it as high as you want it. So each of these layers, I'll put a couple screws through to the other piece. I'll top it off, I'll put one of these on. And that's it. So I may actually cut 4 more of these and make this one level higher. So it ended up being this high. You know what? I'm gonna make it one level higher than that. That looks like a good height. So that's it, that's the total block. So I'm gonna screw this together and we'll test it out. I'll need to cut 4 more of these and 4 more of the 10-inch pieces. All right, so for this next step of assembly, you can use a square, like a speed square or regular square, or a piece of wood that you know is square on all 4 corners. Anything you can use to get these pieces nice and square on the corners, because you want it to look good when you're done. So I'm going to start with the bottom layer. Just move this out of the way. And I'm going to drill up from the bottom. So on the bottom, I'm actually going to have these 2 2x4s. So I want to start with these, drill down this way. So we'll just get our square lined up. All right, this should be good. What I'm using is a 3-inch deck screw. Should be plenty strong enough to hold all this together. And for now, I'm just going to put 1 in each corner, probably about 1 inch in from each side. Go ahead and run all 4 of these down just below the surface. That's it. And you just keep adding layers to make it as tall as you want. Okay, you may notice that I only put one screw in each layer. The layer here that I screwed towards the inside corner, about an inch from here and about an inch from where this board is underneath. So right there. By staggering those, you can do one on each layer. It's not gonna rack or move or anything. It's as solid as a rock. All right, so that is my height. That's how I'm making it. So I'm just gonna put one of these on each end, and then it'll be done. I'm just gonna use just a basic 1-inch drywall screw for that. I'll do 2 here and 2 here on each end. All right, so I've got both of these assembled now. I'll tell you exactly what I used. Just as a reminder, these are two 55/50/16s. So I've got about 9.5 inches of tread that'll sit on here. So I made these 10 inches wide. And then also due to the size, these are only about 13.5 inches long. So if you're going with a size similar to that, I used almost exactly 3 2x4s. I had maybe an inch or 2 left off of each 2x4 as I was cutting these pieces. So the long pieces again are 13.5 inches long. The width here is 10 inches, a total of 12 of these and 12 of the side pieces across both platforms. And then just from the scrap I had here in the garage, I have 2 little pieces of plywood, little strips. These are about 1.25 inches wide, 10 inches long, just on each end. That way when the tire's in here, if it does roll, it's not gonna just roll right off the end there. So this will allow me to set the car down on the suspension and still have room to get underneath. Let me get a measurement on the height. Alright, so the height on these is right about 9 inches to the surface here. So if that's what you're looking for, you can do that. Again, you can easily just keep adding layers, add another layer here and bring it up another 1.5 inches as high as you want it. I've seen these pretty tall. But that's it. The screws I used were 3-inch deck screws. And I used the ones with the hex head just because they're so much easier to put in. You don't have to worry about stripping anything out. So I had a box of these here in the garage, so that's what I used for these. And then for the strips on the end, I just used 1-inch drywall screws. Mainly because of the coarse thread, they go in really quick, and they have the deep slot for the Phillips head, so you don't have to worry about stripping out like you do some other regular wood screws. And that is it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, I've got more videos coming up soon where I'm going to be using these blocks. I'll be working on the front suspension on this car, and I'll probably break it up into several videos of disassembly and reassembly, putting in some new pieces. And then I've got some more home projects I'll be working on as well. So yeah, like and subscribe and you won't miss any of it. All right, talk to you soon.